What's up, flooring family? Welcome to the Huddle. We come at you every Tuesday, 3 p.m. Central, to discuss maintaining forward progress in your flooring career. Sorry, I was stumbling over my own words. With me, as always, is Jose and Daniel Gonzalez of Preferred Flooring out of Grand Rapids, Michigan. And we have a special guest today, Ken Ballin of Ken Ballin Installation. But what's the name of your company? Skyro Floors. I knew that. Sorry about that. But also, Ken's got a really cool platform coming up. We're going to have the privilege to get to know in this podcast. So one thing I want to point out is everybody on here, if you've tuned into the Huddle in previous episodes, you know we're really focused on trying to help the installer become the best version of themselves, the best installation professional they can be. Ken has an excellent program that he's put together. It's an application, AI driven, that is really there to do just that, to give installers the answers that they need to their installation problems. He's building a community around it, and sounds like some really exciting stuff. So welcome, Ken, as well. And so to start off, guys, you guys having a successful week? Everybody so far? So good?
So far, it's very, very busy week.
Well, you can see Jose's, as usual, in his vehicle, and not so as usual, Daniel's out on site, it looks like, and away from home base. So we got Ken in his workout room, I'm in my office, and these guys are out making it happen. So welcome, everybody. If you enjoy the show, or if you've watched previous episodes, please consider giving us a like and subscribe on our YouTube channel or on our social channels. Same with Preferred Flooring, and Ken has a great following on online. So if you follow here and you don't follow him, please go follow Ken. You'll always recognize his logo there on his shirt. I see him from far away at every show just because of that shirt. So let's kick it off with Ken's new venture. First off, congrats, dude. It sounds awesome. I love it when guys take these leaps of faith to try to improve things. So I guess out of the gate, I'm going to ask you to kind of just give us an overview, the name and the overarching idea of your new venture.
Yeah, sure. So the tech is called Ballin Knows best. And essentially what it started out as was a text line that you could text questions in from the job site and get responses to, in real time, fairly quickly as well, depending on, the complexity of the question. The idea is that Ballin Knows best essentially becomes a hub for installers with multiple resources. Aside from just the text line that they can get questions answered, we have the website that's also live, and the app that's coming very soon. We're working on this week and next week to get it, out in its final form. But so we'll have links to sponsors and their websites and their apps. We want to have training and industry events on there. We want to have a board of mentors that can guide people. If you're not really getting the question answered that you want in this manner, you can contact one of our mentors and get the question answered directly from them and have a little more personal conversation. Sometimes you can get a little generic response from the AI. So, it kind of gives you that more in-person feeling. And then at some point, we'd like to also develop our own kind of forum for installers to interact and network with each other as well.
That's great. Yeah, so community really is what you're building, and supporting the installer. Now, do I have this right, that it's AI driven, but it's kind of person supported, it's human supported? So if somebody has a complicated question or something that the AI may not have been fully trained on, it's got some people support on the back in the background. So you may jump in, or one of your mentors jump in and help answer a question the AI may not have provided the clearest answer on, or something. Is that accurate?
So yeah. So I see everything that comes in, all the questions that come in, and I see the answers that go back out. And if I see something that isn't really what I know they're looking for, or I might do something a little differently, I have the ability to jump in myself to the conversation and make either different suggestions or modifications to the answer, so that we can kind of steer them a little better than they might be getting initially.
Well, I think that's an important aspect of this. We've talked about AI and actually Chat GPT and stuff in previous episodes. I believe it was the technology episode or something. One of the frustrations is, you're not always going to get those intricate questions answered sometimes the way you're needing the information. And so knowing that there's some human support behind that is, I think, much needed, and I think it'll go a long way with your user base.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, it's you kind of see
And you
that
have people like me. You have people like me who are just gonna want to talk to someone too. Like, you can read all the literature and whatever responses, but if it's too monotone, it's like, you know what? I feel like there's another way. I feel like there's just one thing missing. And you get a professional like Ken on the phone, and he says, "Oh yeah, dude, this is how it goes. This is what you're missing. You didn't know that?" And of course I didn't. I'm not Ken.
I've given the number out to a bunch of people to kind of test out and use and see what they think. And I've seen the responses come in, and every time that they've asked something that I wasn't really behind, I would jump in and say, please be patient with us. Well, I'm still learning, but this may be a better solution for your problem. And everybody seems to get a kick out of it when they find out that it's actually me and not
not AI.
Yeah.
So this
right.
Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead. No,
I was going to say,
Jose.
we earlier we had the luxury of having the conversation prior to start, but it almost sounds like this the program in itself is going to get smarter and progress the more it gets used. Did I pick that up correctly?
Yes, absolutely. So it is a guided tech, but it does learn as it gets used. So the more we put into it, the more we'll get out of it. And the sooner that we can get sponsors involved to get their setup questions into the tech, that's going to develop it even further. So we really, the main focus right now is obviously promotion, but it's also getting the sponsors on board, because that's just going to be a game changer for developing the tech further. And it can be anything for anyone from setting material manufacturers, tool manufacturers, anybody that is involved in the industry. I'd even like the trade organizations to get involved and have that access, because at the end of the day, the whole point of this is to benefit the installer. When I first started, I didn't have the luxury of working for somebody else. I didn't have the luxury of having the Flooring Installers of America Facebook group where I can go and ask questions. I didn't have the old time installer yelling at me that I was doing stuff wrong that I could ask. I just went about things on my own and read the directions and hoped for the best. And I really, that's what it was. Reading the directions and just going with the flow. And I really think we have a lot of opportunity to do a lot of good for the new blood coming into the industry, and making it an attractive career choice for even younger kids that can get involved and see what we're doing. So I really, the potential of this is just limitless, and I hope it gets the attention that it deserves, and I hope that it's as successful as I know it can be.
So what gave you the idea? How did the idea and the Ballin Knows Best kind of come to light?
So the Ballin Knows Best was not my idea, actually. That was not me. I had so I'm a bit of a Gary Vaynerchuk fan, and for those that don't know Gary V, go follow him on social media. He's awesome, but
Yeah.
he's got a little bit of a potty mouth. But so he was,
Yeah, viewer discretion advised.
Yeah.
He was hot on the AI and the chat GPT and everything like that. So that kind of piqued my interest. And as soon as, I got into it, I just knew like, this could be a game changer for our industry. This has a lot of potential. And, others in the industry said, well, it'll probably be like 5-10 years before it's usable for us. But my partner on this project is actually Jason Potts, and he is big. He's another flooring installer, but he is into the tech and writing the tech and doing websites and all this sort of cool stuff. And he came to me and he said, hey, listen, I'm working on this thing. What do you think about? And I was like, dude, I'm in. Like, I'm sorry, I didn't even need like, I'm there. Like I've been hot on it for a while, and he was just like, I was like, all right, I guess it's time to make the jump and do something, because I always say doing something's better than nothing. So even if it's a flop, then we are at least moving in the right direction.
Well, typically these kinds of things, they take a little bit of time to get the wheels churning on things. When we started Go Carrera, it still takes a lot of industry education, because people are scared of technology in our industry, honestly. I've ran across it multiple times, where our installation community is a little bit technology adverse. Part of that is the average age, as we all know, is in the 50s, depending on which report you read, but overall it's somewhere around 53 to 58 as the average age of the installation community. Now we have a lot of younger guys in, but any technology piece is a little bit slow to adoption. So patience is always required, and being willing to almost retrain people in understanding the benefits and like Jose said, he wants to pick up the phone and talk to somebody. So giving them an outlet to still be able to talk to somebody is an awesome feature as well. And having that mentorship side of things, where if you need to really get deeper into a question, or you got a project coming up, I can see it working for an installer who has a project coming up, maybe going to handle some materials he hasn't been used to handling yet, he or she, and preemptively talk to a mentor on your site that can help them pre-plan for a project. Even that, those kinds of things, having that human support behind AI, I think is super important. And I think that you have something really good going. So to clarify, right now you have the text line where they can text in the answer or the question, and the answer will come across in any text client, like any messenger client, or is it all, do you know if it, iPhone has different ones?
I'm going to say, as you would send a text message, any other method, a text message specifically, it will respond to any phone sending a text message.
Awesome.
Yeah. Anything else, like from the website or the app, would be you typing your question directly into the website or the app in the submission field.
And the website's live now.
Website is live right now, and the app is going to be shortly.
What is the website for anybody watching?
It's BallinKnowsBest.com.
Awesome.
Well,
guys,
right now it looks like it's still being worked on, because the mentors on here are Joe, Mo, and Bro.
Yeah. So the question submission field is functional. Everything out is kind of just a basic layout that we'll sub in as we kind of adjust the design.
I'm pretty sure that Mo and Bro don't appreciate you talking crap about their name, Daniel.
Yeah. Be nice to those guys. They're great installers.
I'm chewing on this while we're talking, Ken. I'm chewing on this right now. And I can see that this thing being a huge benefit, not only to seasoned installers, but to new installers who are doing their best to go out on their own, and they're just not comfortable, right? Because they don't have the information that someone who's been in it for 15, 20 years has. They don't have that social capital to lean on. And I almost feel like this is going to create more of a comfort level for any new installers going out on their own, and they're going to have information at their fingertips per se. And I just see this helping everybody. Like you said, it wasn't there when you started. It wasn't there when I started, that's for sure, or when Paul started. And this kind of, just to spin it off, that you're going in, and what if it was regional? What if you can have satellite companies if they can't figure out between a person or AI? What if there's a satellite company who might be available to help troubleshoot a project they've needed on there?
Oh, absolutely. It just opens up the lines of communication to anybody throughout the industry. And my focus has always been the installer. I'm an installer. My first concern is always the installers, having access to the information, knowing where they can go for the information and the contacts that they need. And there's still guys out there that don't know what product reps are, or that don't know that there's tech guys in these manufacturers. And if we can have this kind of centralized hub that just brings everybody together, it's just going to be a good thing for everybody involved.
Yeah, and we talk about new guys, but there's often, if you get on the forums or if you're just in the installation community, you'll see guys that maybe do hardwood that's looking to get into ceramic tile. They have some really good hand skills, but they're jumping into a new scope in the flooring industry. This would serve them very well. They know how to use the tooling. They understand the overall application of multiple flooring products, but they're going to start installing themselves a new flooring product and something like this because as previously discussed, you're not just doing ceramic tile, because that's what you're kind of known for, but you're handling resilient, you're handling ceramic, you're handling carpet. I assume the major disciplines.
The one thing I don't do is carpet.
Oh, really?
But see, that's the benefit of having the mentors, because I can have one of the mentors who focuses on carpet be accessible through the app. So if you have questions about carpet, you're going to scroll down here and see that I'm talking to this person about carpet, and I'm going to get that personal experience that I couldn't find with a generic question with the tab.
Yeah, I see a lot of applications where even integrations, like even with Go Carrera, where we have a video chat feature where I can send you a text message to open up your camera, and you may have a problem out on site and need my expertise as the project manager for a job or something on a layout question or whatever, and I can visually see on my computer your camera and take pictures and make markups on the video and those kinds of things. We had the idea of adding Link is the name of that feature, Link a Pro, and that's kind of what you're doing, is like giving them access for tech for a phone call, and we may even be able to do some things where they actually have Ken on the other side looking, they're showing you the problem, and you're making markups and saying, hey dude, if you move this part this far over, it'll help your layout tremendously, or whatever the scenario. But it kind of gives the mentor the eyes out in the field. So there's a lot of ways to improve and get better, and obviously you're thinking about a lot of this stuff. So I just want to commend you for taking the leap. I almost said having the boop to take the leap, but I've made a few slip ups on here. We're not PG, but we try to keep it about PG-13 or so. But having wherewithal to see the problem and then the courage to go out and start something. It takes a lot. I know when I started Go Career several years ago, you get a lot of pushback anytime it's technology, and people are just skeptical of things, right? And we started Go Career in 2018, our first real launch, and it's taken years for people to start to get comfortable with the idea of utilizing technology to leverage themselves and become the best version of themselves as an installer. So those things, you know, I always say thank God for Facebook, or no 50-year-old would know how to use any application. But yours sounds very simple, which is also a huge benefit. Get in the application, type in your question, and get an answer.
Yeah, definitely.
Right.
Um,
And we
I
got
have a
Rowan on
question.
Facebook.
Oh, go ahead, Daniel.
We have Rowan on Facebook with a question. I don't know if he missed the beginning or if my signal is that great or anything, but he says, where are the answers coming from? Is it from an expert or found on the net? And I think Ken already kind of answered that. It's a learning algorithm, right? So the more you put into it, the more the AI learns to spit you out an answer. But then that's where I'll have the mentors in their respective discipline, to where if the answer isn't really there, you can have someone on hand to give an answer.
Yeah, no, that's exactly it. Yeah. So the idea is that it does have that kind of harvesting ability that traditional GPT does, but with the access to seeing the inquiries come in as, in real time, we do have the access to jump in and make modifications and answer them a little more personally than, might be needed.
Well, like you said,
I
with sponsors having, so another answer, Roland, is having the sponsors come in or manufacturers come in. They're going to be providing some of those questions and answers, it sounds like, or answers to the most common questions, probably to kick that AI engine rolling. I would assume something like that is happening, as you said, that the manufacturers or the sponsors in general will have some input as well, right?
Yeah, and we're constantly inputting questions ourselves that maybe are a little less manufacturer and vendor driven and a little more installer driven, something that I might ask on a job site that a manufacturer isn't going to be, I might say, oh, I don't know, an easier way to manipulate this plank around a door jamb or something like that. Whereas a manufacturer of a setting material isn't really going to be interested in that sort of, situation.
tips and tricks.
Yeah.
So I have
That's
a question
cool.
about how would this be available to me, like the general public? How does that work out? Is there a membership? Do you sign up for it? Is it
completely free to installers? We are funded by us currently, hopefully by sponsors pretty soon.
I know the feeling, my friend.
Well, if anybody's interested in sponsoring, please reach out. Yeah, so free for installers, and that was kind of my thing. I want it to be free for installers. We do have another facet of the kind of the Ballin Knows Best company where we're doing like kind of template websites for installers who may not have websites. But that's everything aside from that is completely free for installers. So using the tech, getting the information, anything like that, completely free for installers. We will be fully funded by our sponsors, and that allows us to further develop the tech, further promote the tech, so that we can just grow it and get bigger.
Where do you see?
And then
Oh, go ahead.
we got another
Daniel.
question on Facebook from Tanner James. He's asking if there's support for hardwood refinishing right now.
It has been answering hardwood refinishing questions, and actually I have a very reputable hardwood refinisher in the industry that likes to mess with it quite a bit. So he kind of gives it the run through. He's like, dude, that was kind of impressive. It's like, it's not bad, right? He was like, yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah. So I mean, there are those things that I don't personally like. I'm not a refinisher, so I lean on others to say, and I'll take a screenshot of the question and the answer and say, hey, what do you think about that? And usually the answer that I get is something like, well, that makes sense. I said I might do it a different way, but that is correct, and that seems to be the consistent results throughout at least the inquiries that I don't have 100% background in. So
it sounds like the hardwood refinishing has been, worked on and been trained a little bit. So yeah, it sounds like.
Yeah, I mean the issue, not issue, but like something that I kind of see come up from time to time though is that the AI tech takes information from these vendors who have their websites. So if you're asking for a product from a certain vendor, and they've discontinued it but haven't taken it off their website, that seems to be a ongoing obstacle that we run into. But that's kind of the benefit of these vendors having sponsorships, because they can input these questions, and then we can do another setup fee a few years down the road when you introduce a new product line, and we can do a whole new set of questions that we're inputting into the tech. And it's just going to learn and keep, kind of feeding off what we give it.
That's pretty awesome. I do have a question on the text line. Is it a phone number that you provide for the text line? And is that on your website or?
Yeah, so the text
if I wanted to text a question right now, what would I do?
You can text 609-483-4975. And ironically, today we're doing a little maintenance, but typically speaking, any other day would be fine.
That happens.
Give me that number one more time. Give me and our audience that number one more time.
Yeah. I'm gonna write it down. I'm gonna write it down this time.
The text line for Ballin Knows, 609-483-4975.
And if you just go to the website, you can actually, there's a little bubble on there that says, ask your question. You just click on that and it'll open up messages.
Yeah, and
so if you don't want to memorize it.
Go ahead. Daniel's breaking up a bit because he's out working in the field, but you're basically what he's saying is you can do it just like we mentioned earlier, Ken mentioned earlier, is you can go to the website and use the chat bot on the website to get the answer, or you can text 609-483-4975 your question. Just save that in your phone as Ballin Knows Best, and when you're out on site, if you got a question, send a text. You might get the man himself responding to you. So
maybe.
So Ken, where do you see you talked about having a kind of a forum type deal. Where do you see all this coming together, and what is success for Ballin Knows Best? Sorry, what does success look like for that?
That's right. Our goal, and my partner Jason and I have we talk about this pretty regularly. The goal is to have a centralized hub, a resource for installers across the industry, regardless of what flooring type you install, whether it's one or everything. You have this resource that you can go to for anything that you need, whether it's a question answered, whether it's links to vendors' websites, and you just have access to all the information that none of us knew was out there when we first started.
Yeah, it was out there, just not as accessible for sure.
Is this going to be available internationally, or is it just in the US for right now?
I would love for it to be international. We are working towards, I shouldn't even say this. Maybe I should. No, I will. Whatever. So we're
It's just us. It's just us talking, bro.
Yeah.
So there is a push for Ballin to learn Spanish. And depending on how we see that going, will lead to other things down the road. I really just want to focus on the English version that I can understand first. Well,
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah, I could see a big need for Spanish, honestly. I mean, there's a
Well, and that was
large
that was
community.
kind of one of the first things that we had talked about. But yeah, you know, depending on the success of it in the States in English, that will kind of dictate how we evolve it to learn Spanish and other languages, and you know, hopefully at some point go international.
The cool thing
Awesome.
about the AI platform is that it can interpret English to Spanish and Spanish to English for you too. It might miss some here and there a little bit, but I mean, for the most part, if they ask a question in Spanish, I bet you it can translate that and bring up the literature in English.
It has, but again, that's something like with refinishing or carpet, where I take a screenshot and send it to an installer that I know speaks Spanish, and I can say, "Hey, what do you think about this?"
Yeah.
Again, you know, when I've done that, it's been okay. That makes sense. I might do things a little differently, but that's an acceptable answer. So it's, you know, it's kind of that. The more we build the network, the more we bring on more mentors. And, you know, that's the perfect example of having somebody that speaks Spanish as one of the mentors. You know, it just makes us more accessible to those that can use the.
Yeah, so
it sure does.
As the mentor, from the mentor side, is this are they going to be available at certain times, or is it a callback thing? Is that a scheduled event? How do you see that playing out?
So from our initial conversation, it would be essentially the same thing as you're sending me a message on the job site. I answer it as soon as I can. I might not see it for a few minutes, but I answer and give some sort of, you know, comprehensive response. It might not be a phone call. It could be a text. It could be, you know, a message on Messenger. But I would like to think that, you know, we can kind of modify it as we go along and, you know, kind of increase our reach based on our needs. So, I mean, I see it as an all access, and maybe if this person isn't available right now, you know, we've got 2 or 3 people in that category that can help you if you're, you know, really in a jam. But if you've got, you know, your first choice is Jose Gonzalez, and you're going to send him a message, you're going to wait for his response because you like what he has to say.
Oh, gotcha. Just don't do it in Spanish, guys. I need help with that.
Yeah,
too.
don't let the last name fool you.
Or the first name.
Oh yeah, my wife's Hispanic, and so I always tell her, just tell them you're Indian, honey. So, well, Ken, I've got just a couple of other, maybe a little more technical questions on the tech itself. When people do get a response that they, you know, that doesn't make sense to them or doesn't maybe apply directly, what's the next step for them? Do they re-ask the question? Because, you know, in my experience using some of the AI tools, taking part of the answer, part of the original question, and reformatting it can get you a better answer. Is that kind of the guidance, or is it just, what's your guidance there? Because surely there's some of that might happen. So just give the potential users a little guideline on maybe if they don't get the perfect answer the first time.
Oh, no, absolutely. So, I mean, well, very similar to all of us learning how to use standard search engines, you know, when that kind of first gained in popularity, using a search engine. We had Yahoo, we had Hotmail, we had, you know, Ask Jeeves. Remember Ask Jeeves? I think I'm dating myself here.
You
but
are
like,
a bit.
No, I remember that.
you had to type a question. It had to be a question, like capital letter in the front, question mark on the back, and that's the format that that platform accepted. So, AI is no different. You ask it questions and you can kind of see, you're like, oh, I'm going through Google and this didn't really give me the results that I'm looking for. So let me kind of tweak this question a little bit. So I asked a question about what, and this kind of makes me crazy when people ask it this, because it's not what it's meant for at all. But I said, what thin set should I use for setting 12 by 24 marble? And it spits out this answer with a product that I'm like, yes, but no. So I said, I would change it a little bit. What type of modified thin set from this manufacturer should I use in this shower application if this is going to be in a heated floor? Like, you just kind of make it a little more specific and you can kind of tweak out the answer. You're like, okay, that makes sense. But then there's things like I was setting a shower a few weeks back and I'm using flow effects drains just for an example. And I was drilling through the subfloor to make the hole for the drain, and I just couldn't, for the life of me, remember what the spec was on the size of the hole that I needed to drill. And I didn't have, I couldn't get on the net for the internet for some reason. So I, texted in to the Ballin Knows Best, what size hole do I need for a flow effects drain? Spit it right out at me, 4.5 inches. Sweet, I'm good. So like, sometimes you get that very direct, very, exactly what you're looking for. And sometimes you need to kind of stretch the question to kind of tweak out that answer that makes sense. But, it's like other AI, you can tell when it's the question, when it's the answer you need, and then when it's just giving that generic kind of, response. But, I see, as of right now, as of today, if you text in, I see the question come in, I see the answer go out, and I can jump in myself and say, hold on, let's switch that recommendation up and let's do this. Or hold on, let me confirm with this person that I know has the answer, and I will get back to you personally with the answer to your question.
That's awesome. I with those questions, the way you just asked that, I kind of see this asking questions back, like the thin set question. Like it was going to say, like say if someone doesn't specify whether it's stone or porcelain, maybe it's going to pop up 3 questions. What material are you installing? Where's it at? Is it on a what substrate? You know what I mean? Like I can see that, and then they start clicking.
Kind of makes those modifications. But yeah, you're absolutely right.
And it would help someone who might not have all of the terminology down. They understand the hand skills, but they might not have the terminology. I can see that helping them actually get better at terminology as well. Because now it's kind of, I don't want to say leading them, right? But it's honing in on exactly what they need.
Making them aware of something they weren't thinking of before.
Yes.
Like we didn't know that it mattered that the substrate is foam instead of drywall.
Yeah.
Or we didn't know that it mattered that I had to change the trowel size for a glue down installation for resilient based on the substrate.
That's all great information there. I'm gonna be messaging this thing every day. I'm testing it out. I'm gonna test it out. I'm gonna ask the dumbest questions just so that way it can have some kind of algorithm.
Oh,
I think that's probably welcomed.
No, definitely, absolutely. And specifically when it gets it wrong, send me a screenshot because I would love to check it out and make that modification.
Okay.
That's kind of the whole point though, as it takes a community, right? So if we're all working together to develop this technology, we're only making it better for those that are coming in, to use it. And, a very smart lady said, it's our responsibility to hold the door for those coming in behind us. And, that's kind of just a reoccurring thought in me every day.
You know what?
Yeah,
So it is too. Like any installers, any seasoned vets out there listening right now, and you guys have access to that. I think that it would probably help tremendously for anyone just to get on and ask some basic general questions so that way it can start creating a database, so that way it can start spitting out better answers and more in-depth answers. Like you
Absolutely.
said, it takes a village. I like that.
If we can get it to be less of a harvester of information and more of a provider of information, I mean, that's the goal right there.
I can't wait for you to
Well-
celebrate that tipping point.
Yeah. Me too, brother. Me too.
So if you guys are curious on anything, I mean, using, again, I'm going to repeat the number a couple more times before this is over, because just using this thing is going to make it better. I've messed with AI quite a bit, and the key is community usage. I've got probably 100 different bots training for different reasons, whether it's, you know, writing out a email letter or different use cases for just your simple chat GPT. But what is key is the more information it's fed, the more it learns, and it learns upon your guys' input as well. So using this is a benefit to everybody. That's the bottom line, right? I mean, so again, the phone number to text, this is the easiest way to get involved right now. Pull out your phone, type in 609-483-4975, save it as Ballin Knows Best, and start using it and text in your questions. You'll get some from me for sure. So,
And the name of the app is going to be the same as the website, just Ballin Knows Best.
Yep, Ballin Knows Best. We're going to keep it simple.
and will this be down available in the app stores, or will it be a web application?
No, it will be. Now I'm going to put my foot in my mouth. No, it should be available for both Android and Apple users in the App Store.
Awesome.
Fingers crossed.
All right. Fingers crossed. It takes a little bit of time, guys. So support Ken in his venture here. He's just really came up with a unique approach to helping the multitude of installers that you just can't provide from a Facebook group even, or and you've done good with your Facebook group and
Yes.
being the moderator of those and your social presence and then and stuff. But this is giving you the information when you need it, and not you putting content out and then someone finds the content. So it's a different model. It's almost like on demand, and that's kind of where the world's moving. I mean, you gotta freaking have every streaming platform to watch your movies anymore. You can't just have good old cable television. So, get with the times, start using this. I think it's worthwhile for any of our listeners, anybody, that's engaged with us over the years, to help to foster that technology in a way that it becomes so user, just like Ken said, not a harvester of information, but a provider of information. And you guys, all of us have a role in that. And if we can do that, then man, how many people can you help in a tough time? I installed since I got out of high school, and I know what it's like to be absolutely freaking frustrated at a point where you don't know what the next step is, and you don't know what the answer you don't have an answer or a solution to the problem, and you, with a very heavy heart and very fearful approach, go ahead and do it the best you know how, and often it's not the right way. And so this can circumvent a lot of those scenarios. If you've been installing any time, you've been there, I'm sure, where you just didn't know what to do and you did your best and it didn't work out. And I've had failures on my own stuff, especially really early on before I really got all the training and certifications. I would encourage everybody. Ken's CFI certified. I'm Nora, and more on the residential or resilient side of the world. That's what I really loved when I was installing. These guys are you know, Jose and Daniel are both heavily certified in the different resilience and floor prep. So I think all of us on this show, on this podcast, would also really encourage you guys to get to the different conventions, get to CFI convention, FCICA, CFI joint convention is going on at the latter part of this month down in Orlando.
Next week.
You can look that up.
Next week.
It
Holy
is,
smokes.
It is. Look how fast it comes. So if you can make it, get down there and get certified, guys. Go to get CFI certified, or if your thing's tile, give it the CTEF and get your CTI certification, or if you're really good, go for the ACT. We really like to see guys engage themselves in education. What Ken's doing is supporting that through his platform, and he's also given that early education, but nothing is going to completely supplement your ability to go put your hands on the product and get certified. So I would still, I think everybody on this call would support that. Like, let's continue to get better as an industry. And what you are doing, sir, is really awesome. I think it's got a great use case. We'll certainly support it. You and I can have some offline conversations on how maybe we can help you out a little bit, maybe show you some pitfalls that we ran through since 2018. And so anything we can do to support you and help,
thank you. We appreciate
we'll certainly be here for you. So
Perfect.
with that,
I just want to add, for the record, you guys, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt, but Ken is taller than Daniel. I just want everyone to know that.
Well, Daniel, you're still on the far right side of the frame of the picture then, right? It's all good, my friend. You're my buddy. So any closing
my
thoughts?
wife is short.
Good deal. Any closing thoughts, ideas, or input here from you, Ken, that may help the users any further with kind of how you're going? Are you keeping a blog or anything like that to keep your community updated, or are you sharing that on your Facebook group? Like, how can they stay engaged with your new venture so they kind of know the developments?
Yeah. So I've really tried to keep it off the Facebook groups. I don't like, I don't want to kind of abuse that facet of my social media presence. Does that make sense? I don't know.
Sure.
But anybody, you know, and I always, to everybody that I tell in the Facebook groups, you know, is always welcome to message me, text me, call me, whatever. My phone number's plastered all over the internet. I will start doing like, I've been on the fence with it because I'm not overly committed to putting my face on camera, contrary to popular belief. But I was going to start taking the inquiries and doing like a short video where so-and-so asked this question and this is my answer. And I'll put it on my TikTok and my Instagram stories. And then kind of do that sort of, I don't want to just spam my profiles and spam the groups with it. I want people to come to us as opposed to me spamming everyone.
Sure.
Well, I know
maybe a blog on your website that just kind of gives the updates. Hey, this is now live, or this is now live, or something.
Yeah. And I'll probably do things like that on my social media. But yeah, the goal right now is two things. It's to get people to use it and know about it, and then to get the sponsors involved so that, you know, we can really start teaching the tech and, you know, having the ability to use that sponsorship to really promote and teach the tech further.
Awesome. All right,
and
gentlemen,
you guys, if Ken doesn't get sponsorship,
inputs?
Yeah, you know what? I think I do have a little bit of input. I think once everyone starts getting their hands in the pot, so to speak, I don't think you're going to need to worry about social media blasting it. I think it's going to be a quick pace, copy and paste for people, and they're going to say, go here. And I think it's going to take off. another thing too is this potential sponsorship. If it starts getting bleak, let me know. We can start a pop can drive for you, bro. We'll get it going.
I'm gonna stand out on the corner with the pancake.
We'll do the pop can drive first.
That's funny. Oh man.
Daniel, you got anything, any insights or input here?
No, I just look forward to using it and seeing what it spits out back at me. Is there going to be anything where like you can have someone like us give it information that it can spit out?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Like if there's, and actually that's a great point. Yeah, if you guys and it had information specific to like a category through the installation, absolutely send me the questions and answers and we can plug them in. Like that stuff for installers is gold. So if anybody on the installation side wants to help contribute to that, that is obviously we're not going to charge people to do that. That's benefiting the community. So anything from the resilient side, from the carpet side, from the hardwood, anything, epoxy, whatever sort of, anything that covers the floor, like we will gladly take the questions and answers to put into the tech. Absolutely.
That's awesome.
Awesome. All right, well, guys, we're going to wrap this thing up. Ken, thanks again for coming on and telling us about Ballin Knows Best, and you know, kind of giving us a rundown. I hope everybody understands that your input and working with the technology. I do want to point out what you said. It's kind of like Googling something. If you don't get the result you wanted in the first Google search, you Google search again. So yeah, tweak it a little bit. So remember to do that. Use the technology. Use that. I'm going to say the phone number one more time: 609-483-4975, and text in your questions. Let's see if we can train this thing together and help Ken in his mission to improve the installer's life. So absolutely. With that, I want to say thank you. Thank you guys as always for being a staple and the pillars of the huddle. And we will catch you guys next week. We'll catch you guys next week on site even, right?
Oh yeah.
We'll see you guys. Yep.
Are you gonna be down there, Ken?
We'll be there. We'll be there Monday.
You'll be there Monday. I think I have to look at my flight. I can't remember if I get there Tuesday or Wednesday. It's kind of a whirlwind because I have a show directly after that as well that I gotta go to. So it's like bing bang from here through October is going to be pretty crazy. But Ken, if we see you at a show, I look forward to catching up and seeing how it's going and the progress, man. So absolutely. And we'll have you back on to give us an update here in the near future as well. So
no, we appreciate it. Again, thank you guys so much for having me.
Hey,
welcome. All right, guys.
I love it. I love this idea.
It was an awesome huddle. I loved it. And again, if you guys like what you have, the content of this episode or any other episodes, most of our huddle episodes are really geared at improving the installer's lifestyle and giving them the tools, whether it's financial tools or information, or bringing on great people like Ken to improve your installation career. Please, again, consider giving us a like, a subscribe, comment, and reach out to us on our social channels. And from there, we will see you guys next week.
Have a good one, everyone.
See ya.
All right. See you, fellas.